Hello, day 68 of the CamperPod build. Show you the weather outside today. It's sunny, little bit windy, but it's a little bit cold. That's why I'm dressed up here in several layers, because it's a little cold out here in the garage. I do have a little space heater down right there to keep things warm. And it's not too bad. But anyway, I want to show you something. I picked these up the other day because I'm thinking about now how I'm going to put the CamperPod into the trailer, how I'm going to lift it. Several different ways, including, hooking onto a cloud and trying to lift it that way, but I'm not sure if I can do that, if I have long enough rope. So I was thinking about, the old truck campers, or even new truck campers with those stands, with those jacks. However, they're hard to find. I'm still going to look for some, but I was thinking about doing something like this. But the problem is that these attachments here are weldable, and I don't know how this would work if I made a round, say big round dowel to go inside there with a pin to go through to lift it. I don't know if the strength would be there or not. So anyway, if you have any ideas on how I can use these, let me know, because these are rated for 5,000 pounds. Will give me the lift that I need, and they're side actuated. So anyway, if you think of anything, let me know in the comments just down below. If not, start thinking about it. The more brains working on this, the better. So today, what I'm planning, I think I'm going to cut some aluminum right there. I've got the template from the last video still in place. Got it there. Just need to take that down, tape it up, and or tape the back side of it so that it won't fall apart, because I'm going to be using that for the other side as well. So now I've just got to figure out how I'm going to arrange this stuff here to best fit the aluminum and give you a nice flat space that's not on the floor that I can work with. I moved around some stuff in the garage, mostly my tools down there, and I managed to get this set up here. I think it's going to work because I have my two Worx tables, one there, one down on the far end. And I do have some room between here and there. So this here is about 7 feet. So I'll have enough to roll it out and cut it. Right across here, on this side of the camper, I have 6 feet, so I can actually put my brake there. So it looks like I have a half decent setup, because this apparently will cut with a knife. I'll use this. I've got the edge of the stand here holding this down, and then I can cut on this. I might have to put another clamp or something on here so it won't bounce around. But I think I'm happy with it. Still have a bit of room to maneuver. And when I go to put it away, I'm thinking the plywood will just slide up and against the foam light here that we got tucked away until we need it. And I might be able just to keep that coil of aluminum down there, or maybe put it back in here. All depends, but I just wanted quick access or quick setup, and I think this will work. Just popping the staples here now so that I can take this down and tape the other side. Yeah. So it won't come apart. This is going to be my template for both sides, both this side and the other side. With the cardboard out of the way, I'm just going to mark roughly where the first piece is going to land. It's going to land at roughly the 3 foot mark right about here. It's not rocket science, just to give you an idea. I'm gonna add some tape down along this edge here, just in case there shows any wood peeks through when I go and put the ceiling piece in and it butts against the wall. And I'm gonna have to cut this out as well once I get the piece in place. Just gotta get right out of here. You may remember when we installed these plates and tightened them down. Well, these little nubs here, they're a little too high because the bed will be laying right on top of this, and whoops, there goes my reciprocating saw. So I've got to cut these nubs off, because then the board that's going on top of this will be flush with these nuts. My old school 18 volt Dewalt Reciprocating Saw, and I picked up this Diablo bimetal blade. They had the ones with the points, but this one, well, I just got this one instead. You cut this bolt off like within 30 seconds. Now I'm just gonna cut this one off, just show you how quickly it goes through it. Pretty quick. I've got them all cut off flush. Now this one is a little hitchy on the end, so I'm just going to get my my file and just take the edge off and move on. Well, I'm going to cut the rest of them later when I get to that particular section of the camper. I'll cut them off at that point in time. Now it's aluminum time. I'm going to attempt to cut a piece of that. So I did a quick measurement, and from here all the ways to here, because that's where it's going to be the bend going across, it's 80 3/4 inches. I measured it in 3 places. I measured it right down here at the base, I measured it about halfway, and I measured it right into this corner right there. So it's 80 3/4 inches, and I'm going to come out from there about 2 inches overlap. Well, that might be a little much, maybe 1.5 inches, so that the other piece of aluminum can butt into it. And I'm going to roll that out, mark it, and cut it. As you can see, it rolled out pretty easily. Now I had to pull my piece of plywood back this way a little bit to get the 82 inches. And I put a couple of boards there just to keep it down, because it tends to roll a little smidgen. And there's 82 1/4. What I'm going to do is mark it over on that edge as well, then strike a line, then see if I can cut it with a utility knife. Let's see how this cuts. I just cracked a new end, or new blade. We'll see how this works. It does, that's with 2 scores. And let's try to fix the camera. And it does appear to bend. Now, how far have I got to? Let's see what I can do with the camera. Do one right here. See what happens. Jeez, that was easy. I flipped over the aluminum. This is what the texture is going to look like on the inside. Pretty cool, isn't it? And I'll lay the wooden template, sorry, the paper template on the aluminum. And I've got the corners, or this edge and this edge, pretty much lined up the best that I can using cardboard. And I had to weigh it down because the cardboard is a little wonky. I'm going to grab a pen now and mark this area here. And remembering that this, I've got to keep a little bit out of this section right here, just because of the little gap. Then I'm going to put a little mark right there and on the corresponding end right there and strike a line down through, because that is going to be where the next piece starts when I cut the next piece to do up a level. But first, let's mark this. Okay, so that black mark is showing, and I'll just use this red marker and mark where I've got to trim out a little bit. Okay, there's that piece. Now I'm going to mark this right here. Actually, I don't get my level. I'll probably put up against this and mark that. It'll give me a little bit longer and straighter line. Got my mark there. Got my mark up right there. Now I'm measuring this 18 3/4 before I cut the curve up front, because this is where I'm going to be making the 90 using my brake. So I'm just going to mark this now so it's done ahead of time and I won't have to mess with it, because I don't want to cut that curve off up there because it'll just make it more difficult. I have to actually take apart part of the kitchen cabinet here to get the aluminum in behind, which is no big deal. It'll all go back into place. I've had a set of tin snips. My yellow ones are up there on the wall. Yellow, green, and red. And I know that they're for different directions. I know that yellows are straight because I've used those before, but I didn't know which was which. But anyway, God love the internet. It's good for some things. So the red is for when you want to cut left. Green is when you want to cut right. So depending upon which way I go to cut the curve, depends which ones I use. I'm cutting to the right, so I'm using the green. Pretty easy to cut this stuff. And I did account for that little spot where I had to move my line out a little bit. I did account for that. So when I get this done, I'm just going to do a test fit before I do the 90 with the brake. This is just to get the curve. Okay, good. Got a clamp. Turn turn that the other way so I won't poke myself with it. Come forward a little tiny bit more. Okay, I'm gonna go grab another clamp. Now I've yet to put the 90, so right there it's still, right there is a bit of a bend. But I'll show you. Up here in the corner, it's not too bad. Fits okay there in the corner. I might be able to, well, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a gap there, but we're working on some corner trims. But overall, it looks okay. So next I'm going to pop that off. I'm going to take a closer look at this here, see if I can trim it a little bit to make it a little bit tighter. Then bend that 90 right there. This is going to look pretty cool. I just had a visit from the inspector, and I have a little bit of a change order. This piece is not going to go in like this. We're going to be cutting it at this level to go right across here, because 3 feet will come from here to roughly there, and we're having a backsplash, and this will sort of like be down below the cabinetry here, so it'll be hidden. Otherwise we'd have a seam going right across here and over there that we'll have to figure out what to do with. So anyway, rethinking of the process a little, not too big, so I'm just going to take this out now and mark this, and then cut a big long strip I have to cut, which is fine, and then bend it. I'm going to have to put in a couple of returns here because I didn't have them, but where there's a shorter piece I need to put in a couple more returns there. So it's not too bad. And then we'll have a nice big piece here that we can, you know, use elsewhere in the build. So that's it. Modifications as we go along. I'm sure that there will be others, just like there's been modifications to date. So I'm just going to take that out now and cut it and put it back in place. So there's the mark, 21.5. I can see it, most of it. I might have, yeah, it's disappeared right here. So I'm going to have to remark that right here. Sure, bend this. I can, you know, it'll bend there in the corner. Let's see if I can. Okay, there we go. There, I got it. Bit harder bending that sort of piece. I might have to get something to put underneath it. Let's try putting this underneath it, see if that makes a difference. That's what I'll have to do. Turn it upside down. And then bend it up like this. Okay, yeah, that's makes much more sense. There we go. Get that in right there. Wow. Okay, so it can bend flat. Oh, it must be the vapor barrier here that's stopping it from breaking free. Just run a knife right up along the edge and it should be fine. In order for me to be able to transfer this curve onto the other 3-foot piece, what I did is that this mark here is the actual edge of this piece. So then I backed off 1 1/8 inches, and so this line here on this whole template of the curve will actually be the bottom edge of the next 3-foot piece. So the next 3-foot piece that I roll out, that edge right there will be going right there. So that'll give me that curve. I guess now I'm going to break out the old brake and put a little bend on this. I've got the brake clamped to this piece of plywood. It's not like super duper stable. So if I'm going to be doing more of this, actually it may work. I'll just loosen that up a little bit there. Actually, I just might have to loosen that up on one end. Let me pop the camera in a handy dandy holding spot. Seal that. Yeah, that'll go underneath right there. And you can see the line right there, so I just gotta line that up with the edge like that. So I'm just lining the mark up with the edge of that metal. Let's tighten this back up. Take a look. Still looks good. Now let's see if it'll work. Well, not exactly a 90, but a little bit of a tweak there. Let's pop this off. Might have to loosen this one up over here to get it out. Slide that back. Oh yeah, look. Sweet. Got the 90 just where I wanted it. Right there on the line. Excellent! It works! Woo-hoo! Okay, this is take 2. Looks much better. A little bit of a band in it there, but that'll be kept in by the window. A little bit, I won't say tight there, but okay. So it fits really well. The 90 fits good in there. Might have to just trim. Oh, that just might be just a curve. Yeah, that's just a curve. That's just not the curve. I guess the memory in the aluminum where it was rolled up like that out there. That's making it come off the wall like that. If I had a clamp on it, it actually does seem to be touching in there. But before I install it, I might just trim a little tiny bit off that. So, and it's great. Like, look, perfect. It'll line up with the window because the window will close all this over, and the upper piece, the 36-inch piece, will come down to right there. Piece number 1 of many pieces that's going to be going in here. Oh, that's the leftover. That'll go somewhere. This is going to look cool. It's going to look really cool. And so ends day 68. I did quite a bit today. Well, I'm happy with what I got done. Figured out how I'm going to set up my aluminum in here so I can cut it and bend it and that sort of thing. Because when we start getting snow outside, I'm not going out there. I got one piece in. There's a change order part way through, which is fine. It looks good. I just got to make a little trim up there just so it'll slide in. And what else did I do? Oh yeah, I cut off the bolts up there. So it was pretty good today because that was one of the biggest things I was trying to figure out in my brain. Would I be able to make it work inside the garage here for cutting the aluminum and then bending it? Well, I can, which is great. My brake works. It's relatively easy to work with, that aluminum. You know, two scores of the utility knife and it's cut. So it's just going to be picking this off piece by piece. So that's it. End of day 68. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.